now let's look at how to become an effective communicator. What is that we can do? What are the techniques that we can adopt so that we are able to communicate effectively? Now, in this, the number one is to have clarity in thought. Now, what do you mean by having clarity in thought? A lot of times what happens is that because you don't know very clearly what idea you're communicating, why are you communicating it, you might muddle up, okay? And because of which you'll start fumbling. So people who were talking about that, fluency is an issue. So fluency is an issue a lot of times because we are not clear as to what are we communicating. Now, this is again very important when we talk about in situations where we put in a business meeting, okay? When there is a client meeting, maybe a business meeting, internal meeting within your own team, right? In all these scenarios, if you're not clear as to what is that you want to communicate with the other person and what is the agenda, what you're sharing is also important, and why you're sharing, what is your intention of sharing that communication is also very important here. Let's say as an intern, if you're interning at a law firm and your ultimate goal is to get hired in that particular firm. So you would see that, okay, you would want to communicate a lot of ideas to the firm as to how you'll be able to contribute better, right? So number one would become that you should be able to communicate your thoughts very clearly. And number two is to keep your purpose intact. So whatever your purpose is, you need to speak in accordance with that so that you're able to achieve the objective. All right. The number two is delivery. So once you're sure about what you want to speak, the second comes how you speak it. Okay. So in communication, if you're speaking, let's say very fast, the other person will not understand the communication. Okay. So when it comes to speaking, it is just not about delivering your ideas. It is also about getting understood. So the person should be able to understand what you are saying. All right. For that, you need to ensure that your delivery is such that it is landing on the other person. So maybe let's say when you're speaking in a meeting, okay, when you're adding a point in a meeting, maybe you want to quickly ask a question to the other person. What is that you get from the discussion? Okay, like this is specifically important when you are delegating a task to someone. When you're delegating a task to a junior or to an intern to do something, you might want to quickly check on them that what you have understood after this, right? Now, for somebody from the other side of it, when they are interning, they would also want to ask that, I've understood ABCD. Is that what you mean, or there is something more to it, right? So delivery, how your communication is landing on others is also very crucial to communication, specifically in a lawyer and a client relationship. Okay, so you want to ensure that you've captured the interest of your client clearly. There are no gaps in that. Okay, let's say your client said that, I want to close this deal at X amount. If it doesn't happen, then I don't want to move ahead with the transaction. Let's say this is what your client told to you. In this scenario, it is important that you're very clear on the mark that your client has told you. If that has not been told, you would maybe want to ask further questions on it, right? So ensure that your delivery is powerful. To do that, what you can do is you can be loud, okay, so that the other person is able to hear you very clearly. Also, you communicate slowly. You don't have to rush through what you're saying. If you will rush through what you're saying, the other person might not be able to grasp your ideas, right? So just to do a quick recap, number one is to be very clear as to what you're communicating. And number two is to intentionally pay attention how you are communicating, what you're communicating, right?